guys, we're going to do our second lesson today. So make sure you've got something to write with, pencil, pen, crayon, or marker, and make sure you've got a piece of paper. So like I said, it could be the back of something. You can check in your backpack and see if we have some old papers you could write on the back of, and just make sure you're ready. If you're not ready yet, then pause the video and come back when you have something to write with, just so you can make sure that we're working together. Even if you have a marker at home and a surface that you can write on and erase, then that would be great too. All right, we'll start with our learning target today. If you can see it close enough, then you can read it with me like we always do together. I can subtract from multiples of 100 and numbers with 0 in the tens place. So let's think about our action today. What are we doing? We are subtracting. Any other actions here? I don't see any others. So what are we subtracting from? Multiples of 100 and numbers with 0 in the tens place. So let's come up with some examples of those. What are multiples of 100? I'm going to give you a couple and then see if you can come up with a couple more examples. Multiples of 100, for example, 300, 700, 200. These are multiples of 100. It's any number that we can land on if we're counting by hundreds. So 100, 200, 300, those are all multiples of 100. Can you think of another one? So 100 would be 800, 600, 900, 400, 500. Great, those are all multiples of 100. So we're going to subtract from numbers like this, okay? And then we're also subtracting from numbers with a 0 in the tens place. So if we look at hundreds, tens, and ones, the numbers are going to have a 0 here in the tens place. So see if you can think of a number that would have a 0 in the tens place. So some of those same numbers we just said do have zeros in the tens place. This one does. What about this one? 505. Does that one have a 0 in the tens place? It does. Okay, so they might have a 0 in both of these, or they might just have a 0 in the tens place. But either way, we're going to be able to subtract from these kinds of numbers. What kind of strategy or what method are we going to have to use if we have a 0 here and we're subtracting? Let's think about that. Because we're going to be seeing problems like this one. And before we even start to solve, we can see something that we're going to have to do. What are we going to have to do because of the 0 here? We can take away the hundreds just fine. Well, sorry, let's start in the ones, right? We start in the ones. We can take away the ones. We can do 2 take away 1. We could even do that mentally. Can we do 0 take away 3? So we are going to have to unbundle in the hundreds. So if there's a 0 here and we're trying to take away a number that's more than 0, we're always going to have to unbundle, okay? And that's what we'll be doing here. So to solve this problem, I want you to do 2 different strategies. I want you to do your hundreds, tens, and ones chart, and I want you to do the vertical method. So you can pause the video and solve this problem using both methods, and then come back here and check in with me, and I'll try the problem and we'll see if we got the same answer. So go ahead and pause your video. Okay, so if you're back, I hope that you tried the vertical method and the hundreds, tens, and ones chart to solve this problem by yourself first before you came back to see me. And then we'll go through it together. You can check your work with mine. So I'll put my chart here. And what number am I going to draw first? Our total, which is 400. Any tens? No tens. And how many ones? 2 ones. Now we're going to take away 231. So am I drawing 231 or am I taking away 231? We're going to take this away. Okay, so I'm not drawing anymore. So first we'll start in the ones like we always do and start taking away. Can we take away 1, 1? We have 2. Can we take away 1? We sure can. So I'll do it and I'll mark that off just so I remember I did that. Okay? I can take away the 1. Now it's time to take away 3 tens. Can we do that? We cannot. So what do we need to do? We need to unbundle or borrow from our neighbor. So who do we go to borrow? We always have to go to the bigger number. So we're going to take 100 from him and we're going to break this 100 apart. When we break that 100 apart or when we unbundle that 100, how many tens are in 100? 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100. We have 10 tens in that 100, so I need to draw those 10 tens. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So we've got 10 tens. Now, can we take away the 3 tens? Sure, now we can. So let's go ahead and do it. 1, 2, 3. And can we take away the 200s? Sure we can. Take away 200s. Now let's see what's left. I have 100 here, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70 here, and 1 here, 171. So I hope my work's correct because I've done it carefully, but I'm going to check by using the vertical method too, just to be sure. 402, take away 231, start in our ones place like we always do. 2 take away 1 is 1. 0 take away 3. Can't do it. What happens? What do I need to do? We ask our neighbor. What do we say to our neighbor? Can I have a 10 and some sugar? And then we take it away. The 4 turns into a 3. And the 0 becomes a 10. Now take away. 10 take away 3 is 7. 3 take away 2 is 1. Now if I look at my 2 answers, they match. So that makes me feel pretty good that my answer is probably correct. However, we did learn one other trick for checking our subtraction problems. If we're not sure if we subtracted correctly, what other operation can we do to check our problem and see if we got the right answer? Does anybody remember? We talked about adding the 2 parts and seeing if it gives us this total. So I'm going to erase this side so I have some more space. And we're trying to add these 2 parts here. So let me show you that on a number bond, what that would look like. Our total number was 402. And our parts that we got, 231, and we think it's 171. So these 2 parts together should make our total if we did it correctly. So I'm going to line them up and add, because here we're looking for a total. Starting our ones like always. 1 plus 1 is 2. 3 plus 7 is 10. So what do I put here? 0, and where's the 10 go? Yep. 2 plus 1 is 4. 402. Did I get the same total that I found before? So now I feel pretty darn sure that I'm correct, right? Because now I've checked it using 2 strategies and checking with addition. So now I'm pretty sure my answer's correct. And if you got the same answer too, that makes me feel even more sure about our answers. All right, my friends, I'm going to put up 2 more problems for you. I'm going to write them here on the board, and I'd like you to solve on your own. So I'd like you to use the hundreds, tens, and ones chart and the vertical method and check with addition, okay? So I'll put the 2 problems up here for you. Both of the problems are going to have a number that has a 0 here, okay? So it's going to require some unbundling. Here's one problem. And here's another problem. And if you have time, I'll put one more extra one on here for you. And what you're going to do is use hundreds, tens, and ones chart, use the vertical method, and check with addition. Okay, so these are your 3 things to do. So right now you can pause the video while it's right on this screen. It has your directions that you're going to follow. Solve with hundreds, tens, and ones. Solve with the vertical method, check with addition. and solve for these 3 problems. So pause the video right on this screen and my beautiful smiling face. And then when you're done, you come back and push play, and I'll go over these answers and how to solve them together, okay? So you can pause it now. Okay, if you're back, I hope that means that you've been busy solving. We are going to solve now and see if we got the same answers. So let's check. I'm going to go over 1 or 2 of these with you. So let's try this one. We'll try our chart and the vertical method. So I'm getting everything set up, and then we can start. 800, let's put 800 in our chart. How many hundreds? Correct, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Any 10s? Nope. Any 1s? Nope. Now, do I draw this number in the chart too? No, because it's a subtraction problem, so I'm going to take away. We always start here in our 1s. Let's take away 3 1s. Can we do that? We cannot. Can we take away our 10s? We cannot. We are going to have to double unbundle. Unbundle twice. And the only person we can get it from is who? The hundreds neighbor that's all the way over here. He's going to give it to the 10s. The 10s will give it to the 1s. And then finally we can subtract. So we'll borrow 1 and unbundle. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Then we need to borrow 110 and break it down 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So now I've borrowed and unbundled twice, and I have 1s and 10s. 10 1s, 10 10s. I had to get rid of that 100 because he's been borrowed now. So are we ready to subtract now? Let's take a look. Can we subtract 3? Maybe I'll use a different color so you can see it better. Can we subtract 3 1s? Sure, we got enough. 1, 2, 3. Did that. Can we subtract 6 10s? Sure can. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Can we subtract 4 hundreds? Sure. 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's see what's left. We have 100, 200, 300, 10, 20, 30, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 337. I'm going to solve in the vertical method too and see if my answers match. And if not, what does that tell me? It tells me I have a mistake in one of the methods and I need to go back. So we'll start here. 0 take away 3, what happens? And then I say, hey neighbor, can I borrow a 10? And what's my neighbor going to say to me? No, you can't borrow a 10. I don't have any. So he's going to go to his neighbor and ask if he can borrow. He's going to go to the 8 and ask if he can borrow. And the 8 would say, sure, yeah, I got some. So the 8 will turn into a 700, and the 0 will become a 10. Now your neighbor said, well, now I see you have some. Can I borrow a 10 now? He says, okay, but now he's not going to be a 10 anymore. What will he be? If he's given away one of the 10s he got from here, he's going to turn into a 9. And now his 0 friend can finally be a 10. Now let's subtract. 10 take away 3 is 7. 9 take away 6 is 3. 7 take away 4 is 3. Got the same answer twice. And then the last way that I'm going to check is by adding. So I'm going to add these 2 parts and see if I get the same total. I'll erase this to give myself some more space again. I'm going to add 337 and 463. Does it matter which one of these parts I put first? It doesn't matter. Why doesn't it matter? I could put it the other way too. I could put 463 plus 337. Why doesn't it matter? Because when we're adding, they're both just parts. We can mix up the parts, right? I could say 2 plus 1 is 3, or I could say 1 plus 2 is 3. And it doesn't matter if I change the order. Let's start here. 7 plus 3 is 10. Carry the 10. 6 plus 3 is 9. Plus 1 is another 10. 4 plus 3 is 7. Plus 1 more is 8. And I ended up with my same total. So I feel pretty confident about my work. All right, so for the last 2 problems, I hope you solved those on your own. I'm not going to go through the whole thing with you for both of them, but I will go through the vertical method for those two problems and see how they went. So I'll do 908, take away 120, and the last one I gave you was 500, take away 327. Okay, so I'll start here. Use my green again. 8 take away 0 is 8, right? 8 take away nothing. Now 0 take away 2. Can't do it. We're going to say, hey neighbor, can I borrow? And he becomes a 10. Now 10 take away 2 is 8. And 8 take away 1 is 7. To check my work, I would add these two and see if it gets me the total. I could even check it mentally in my head while I'm just looking here. I could say, okay, 8 plus 0 makes 8. 8 plus 2 makes 10. That's right. 7 plus 1 makes 8. So then I feel pretty good just doing it mentally. Our last one, start in the ones. 0 take away 7. Hey neighbor, can I borrow a 10? You can't borrow a 10. I don't have one. I'll go talk to my neighbor. Then he says, hey neighbor, can I borrow a 10? This neighbor does have enough. Now he sees his neighbor has some and he says, can I borrow? His neighbor says, okay now, but now I'm going to have to cross him off and he's going to be a 9. I don't really have space for that, so I'm going to sneak it here. He's a 9. And this guy can be a 10. Now 10 take away 7 is 3. 9 take away 2 is 7. And 4 take away 3 is 1. Like I said, we can add these two to see if we get the total. And I'm going to do it in my head because I don't have a lot of space. 3 plus 7 is 10. 7 plus 2 is 9. 1 plus 3 is 4. So I feel pretty good that my answers are correct. If you see a mistake I made, or if you just want to write to me and tell me how you solved, or that you did solve, or send me a picture of you doing your work at home. I'm doing my work at home, so I would love to see what you guys are up to. Okay, miss you lots. Don't forget to log on to Zern and try and do one lesson every weekday. So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, try and do one lesson every day. I'm going to be checking, logging in, and sending you congrats if I see you doing an awesome job on your Zern. Okay, miss you guys. Love ya.